Hello, hello, incredible beings. Thank you so much for continuing this journey with me through Aquarius season. I am just so honored that you guys are interested in this topic and willing to come along. I got some messages from you guys. There were a few comments as well. So I so appreciate that you are as excited as I am for the inner revolution that is stirring up in you, in me, and I think in all of us, though it may not be something we can tangibly see or feel yet in the world. It's kind of the beauty of winter season, like a lot of things happen underground, under the surface. And so to me, the incredible opportunity to deepen into our inner work, our faith, our trust, our gnosis, that all of that and so much more is part of this journey into the quantum human, this journey of the inner revolution that we've been exploring through Aquarius season. So I honor you, I thank you, and wow, thank you for being here. So we've been moving through these petals or gateways of through like from the outer world, from our personality, from our external constructs within. So we've moved through the petal of activation, and last week we got deeper into the earth, the soil, the roots, and this was the petal or the gateway of sustained awakening. And so this week, which is the last week of Aquarius season, this week, the next petal we're exploring is the petal that I call acceleration. And this is a fun place to be. And it's especially fun after, our period of sustained awakening. And so the title of this post, I called it The Dawn After the Dark Night. So for any of you that have gone through or maybe are currently in one of the many dark nights of the soul that we go through, to me, that is one expression of that sustained awakening, right? Like we're deep into something. But dark nights don't last forever. They might last like months or years, depending on what it is that we're sorting through. But regardless, even if it feels like it's an eternity, it is not actually an eternity. And so the dawn after the dark night is this shift into the acceleration phase. The quality of the acceleration phase to me is quite synonymous actually with Leo energy, and it is the new moon in Leo in the time of Aquarius. And so there's an element of creation, natural, raw, creative energy that pours out of us because we have gone through our activation and we have gone through and built our roots, torn apart old foundations that didn't serve us, rebuilt new ones, and now we're sort of ready to step up, step out, sprout, and just sort of be. Now, the pace of things in the acceleration state feels fast, but it's only fast relative to the sort of like the slow, the hermity, in the roots and soil and the basement construction of like the place that we were in during sustained awakening. When we are in the acceleration phase, this can feel freeing, liberating. It can be, quite magnetic, as in we kind of want something, we're not overly attached to it, but like it comes to us anyway, like without a lot of thought, without a lot of planning. And so we kind of get to experience the magic, the wonder, the curiosity of life. And it is really awesome because one of the interesting things, like just on a personal energy level, is when we're healing, when we're sorting, when we're in that sustained awakening phase, a lot of our life force energy, a lot of our physical energy, our mental and emotional energy is highly focused on healing, right? Like repatterning trauma, looking at all of this stuff. So now all of that life force energy is just now in the acceleration phase is just sort of ready to blossom. So in that regard, it's really, really lovely to be in. Some of the common like challenges and traps that I'll say is, again, we can enjoy being in the stage or in the pedal or in the phase of acceleration. And one of the challenges here is that it's easy to forget that even this is a stage, right? We don't permanently stay in acceleration. Oftentimes, and this is largely my experience, I sort of cycle between activation, sustained awakening, and acceleration, right? In different areas of life, in different moments. You know, at first it might have been a health thing, and then when that started to heal, I looked at money and wealth, and then I went through my cycle of, dark night of the soul, accelerate, awakening, activation, awakening, acceleration, and then now it's like, oh, now I'm like launching a business and like everything that goes around with that, and then another year it was relationships, right? So we in health, we kind of keep like moving through all of these because that's sort of the essence of our growth that's coming out, right? We're almost like we're unveiling all of the falsehoods, the illusions, so we can access our raw, essential, radiant being, right? Our quantum self, and then pour that out into the world. So this is a great quality in the acceleration phase. It is often simply about pouring out what we already are, what we've already learned and mastered through our first two phases. So that was one of the challenges, and then kind of like the associated, like the benefit of things. Another challenge is kind of related. It's forgetting that this is not a permanent place, right? So this often happened to me, like after, I went through like a health crisis, and my health was really great, and then something else happened in a different area of life, and then I kind of felt bad again, or I I got a cold, and I was like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. But it's because we forget that it's not a permanent state, right? Like we will always be learning and spiraling and unfolding, and that is the beauty of life, right? Like if you think of plants, trees, flowers, they come, they blossom, and then they die, and then there's new blossoms in the next season. So that if we sometimes forget that or fall out of attunement, that can be kind of a mind trap. One of the other interesting challenges in the acceleration phase is that we're often dealing with issues now beyond that may be bigger than us, like beyond the self, and we might perceive the world very differently. And there's a really good reason for this, right? We had an activation moment or event, and then when we went into the deep awakening within us, we reset all of our foundations. So now when we come out, a lot of our identity, our perspective, what we associate, all of that changes. And so if you really liked something, prior to any of this happening, it could be small, a certain type of food. Maybe you really loved like smoking or drinking or going to bars. Again, not that they're essentially bad things, but you might have really liked something. You might have loved going to, so one of the things for me was I really loved going to concerts. And then when I came out sort of the other side, now I don't really care about going to concerts. Like whatever joy I once got from it, I just don't get it anymore, right? So these can be maybe us moving out of some heavier behaviors, some addictive behaviors, but it could even be something neutral, like our likes change, our dislikes change. And so now when we're in the acceleration state, it can feel a little bit larger than us, like we're not quite sure where to go. It's like, oh, now I guess I need new friends, but where do I go to find them? So it can be a little bit unsettling. And a related energy that is often common, this is so common, and just being super transparent, this is something that I've spent a lot of time working with and working through. It's kind of around, I think of surgeons, right? Or like just a technical skill where so much of a period of someone's life is poured into mastering a specific skill. So after school and after practices, when you come out the other side, you're like, oh, I'm an expert. And then more often than not, we get a bit arrogant. And this is a common, not bad, but a common energy associated with the acceleration stage, simply because we now know so much more than we did before. Now, this could look like that this could look like us going around to all our friends and family and sort of preaching and telling them like, oh, I found this new diet, it's the best diet. Oh, I found this new skill, it's the best skill, right? Like, but we tend to get, in the spiritual community, this is often felt as like a God complex, or, come to me and I shall heal you. Like that type of, there's an undertone of disempowerment because I am the one healing you. I am the one guiding you. I am the master and you are like just like a lowly apprentice. That can sometimes happen. And that all of that comes because there's sort of this energy trapped in the personality, right? Like our mind is so like thrilled with ourselves that we have come through this deep dark night of the soul, and we may have a lot of incredible amazing things to share, but absent compassion, absent heart-centeredness, absent the directionality and the desire of the soul, the energy of it just gets trapped in the mind. So when our mind is in acceleration, that can often lead to intense burnout, a feeling of deep frustration, disconnection with the people around us, because now we're telling people all these cool things, but now they're not doing it. So a lot of our judgments are revealed in the acceleration stage. And the reason I say that it's a challenge and a blessing is because each of these energies, and I only know this because I've been through it myself a lot, each of these energies point to something within that is like an operating truth that we still have about who we are in the world, right? So you can go through, like if you're struggling with, weight or relationships, you can go through like a big, like a deep, great healing journey, and you can come out on the other side. And if some part of you deeply believes that humans are parasites and viruses on the earth, right? Or truly, you just don't matter. The only reason you matter is because you did some cool things. Like if our sense of self is based on what we can do for other people, this is really common with, sensitive folks and empaths, right? So a lot of our core operating beliefs that didn't get pushed around, that didn't get revealed in our first few like dives into our roots, now is when it gets revealed. And so this absolutely has happened with me, specifically around judgment. I remember once going through this big journey around changing like my food and my diet to align with my natural life force energy, with, like my monthly flow as women do. And it had immense benefits. Like my skin cleared up, my energy was great, my mental fog was like almost gone. Like it gave me a lot of benefits. And then I went out into the world and I kind of started judging friends and family for eating, I don't know, like less good things, not realizing that I am creating separation. I'm not coming to them from acceptance and great compassion. Like I went through this journey and I came out, and yes, I'm sharing it, but there's an undertone of judgment, which other people feel, and then they don't want to come along. Because if I shame you into doing something, maybe that will inspire you for like a day, but it's not sustained. And so this is where, in the acceleration pedal, it is so important to reground and refine back into the heart and into the body. And it is actually in the acceleration phase that all of our personality framework, where our personality or our lower mind associates with, I'm so spiritual, I'm so, awakened in this area of life, all of that sort of, if we haven't worked through that, that gets challenged. And so we have no choice but to then return inside and see what we missed out on, right? And then build to that. One of the great parts of being in the acceleration experience, the acceleration, one of the qualities of it, I'd say, is that, difficult things, challenges, bad things, they obviously will happen. But because we've come through this lovely journey, we are far better placed to move through our triggers quickly and gracefully with depth, with clarity, with clear boundaries. It's sort of like the benefits of our first stage of activation and the second stage of awakening, right? Like that sort of merges. One other lovely thing that I already mentioned, but it's about the energy that we have. That's no longer focused on like, now I'm healing, now I'm healing. We just sort of have it. So what this means is that if you've been through something, you've gone through something, and now you have a desire to share it with the world, the stage in which it is most efficient to share it is when you're in the acceleration stage, because now you sort of have this overflow, this good rhythm of energy. So if you're writing a book, or if you want to start writing on Substack, or you want to offer a service to people, or you want to, build a business or change something, now you actually have energy to do so. This is different than still being in the awakening phase and then trying to like heal the world from that place. That, not that it's not possible, it's just a lot of our energy is still in the healing, right? The one part, my favorite part about the acceleration pedal is you are here when you want to share, you want to, whatever is pouring through you, you want to share it, you're excited to, but there is no attachment to fixing other humans. And again, this relates to that judgment energy. So when we are in a higher octave of our acceleration stage, when we can just be who we are, share what we're sharing, and we don't need 900 people to like us. We don't need 2,000 clients. We don't need $7 million at the end of this year. It comes. There's a much more grounded level of faith and trust in the self, in others, and in the world. And I would say that this is a quality that I am learning to receive and learning to enjoy in this particular pedal. So one of the other challenges, especially from moving from awakening to acceleration, is that sometimes our identity is so trapped in healing that it kind of forgets that, okay, now we're healed, and now what? And so this happened with me a few times as well. And again, this is that, the dawn after the dark night. Sometimes we're so used to being in the dark night that we forget to play, to enjoy, to, birth the aurora, the dawn of consciousness into our lives, and then serve the world. So acceleration often is related to service, which is again that Aquarian theme of I've been through this, now here's my story. This also links to the aspect of the hero's journey where, like the classical hero's journey, hero leaves the home, goes on this whole journey, goes into the underworld, has his experience and revelation. But the journey is not complete until he returns home as the new person, the new hero or heroine that he and she is, and shares it with the community. Like that sharing aspect, that dissemination aspect, that is Aquarian energy. And this Leo full moon, Aquarius sun, has that beautiful, not synchronicity, but it's a beautiful dance of the Leo energy of rising and sharing who you are with the Aquarius energy of for the world. Because in terms of energy, we don't receive the things that we want. We receive the things that we already are. So if we already are lions roaring our song, and then we often get places, spaces, people that vibrate in that resonance. So this is some of the energy around acceleration. And I'm dropping it in this way because I've noticed and I've been told that there is often energy that is maybe not authentic, a little bit fake, especially in the spiritual communities. And if that is your experience, if that is something you are witnessing, these are some of the energies around, judgment, arrogance, that we can just be aware of, hold compassion for. In my case, it was me who was kind of struggling with all of this. And for other people, they kind of feel it and witness it in the world. And so, whatever your experience is, I can tell you the medicine of this is in the heart, right? The medicine is not the personality identification with what we're doing, but rather returning to the heart, the space of unity and oneness, and accepting the range of human experience that I am, you are, we are. So I will leave this one there. I'm going to drop one last shorter video that closes off this little saga and introduce the last petal. It's not the last petal. I'm sure there's many more after it. But just to close off this, and then we will slip our way into Pisces season. So thank you so much for continuing this inner revolution journey. I will see you shortly.